Hello, this is Max Street speaking. I'd just like to talk about this earlier video that I've done on room data sheet creation with Revit and Whitefeet Plugin. Haven't really been there, and I've just got a slightly more sophisticated building at this point in time, and I suddenly thought, well, the best way forward at this point in time is to start doing room data sheets again. So I went back to my original video, and in that video I'd made this room tag that comes up with all this information on the room that would actually land itself on top of the sheet. Now, I used the Whitefeet tool plugin, which is now free, and it's got the latest version. I think it's a lovely workflow. Just the one button, which is view, this does so many things that actually make life so easy for me. I suppose you could do this in something like Dynamo or something, but it's just gorgeous. Anyway, here's a model that I've actually got, and one of the things which in White Thing that you can do is you can view the tools and you can create views from rooms. So you can get your view numbers like this, and I'm just going to grab the first, I might always do that, view there, and I can give it a prefix there, and this is just creating views, and I'm going to use a template. So I've already applied a template that I can actually do on this. Now, one of the things that's coming into there, and now this is what it does. So now it'll actually say create the view here, and I've got a plan view, reflected ceiling plan, or a 3D box, and I'm actually making a space of nominally 1 around the actual view, and then I'm going to go through, select those ones. Oh, blimey. Those ones there, and create view. It's created 6 views, go close, and if we just come up to our views, they've got them with the prefix of room on them. So if we just go into there, there's my view there. Now I'm in the wrong phase of this project, so I've got to go into the phase 2, and I wonder if that's in phase 2 there. No, so I've got to go and select all of those and put them into that particular phase as to where it is, and then I can actually come through with my view template. So it is what I want. The next thing that's really good about it is that you can then go in and put a tags to existing views, so you can tag the rooms on there. So when you actually add the tags, this is what I actually had initially. So I'm just going to go into a couple of them here. And actually get quite irritated with that, and then I'm just going to add some tags, and I'm just going to close. Now this is the tag that I started off the beginning. I saw my original video and I thought, oh well, I'll rebuild it and make it in a different way. And the only problem with this tag is if I move it off, it's suddenly I've got to move it back to the room. When I was trying to look at it, and when I was actually building the tag, I'd actually taken another room tag and I'd already got its settings in there. And so if I actually need to have it away from the room, off to one side or something like that, I ended up with the leader line. But the original video that I actually had, it doesn't have a leader line on it, but it's always sitting on top of the plan. So I couldn't quite figure out what was happening there. Anyway, I decided to build it from scratch. So if I will go and actually just look at that particular tag, when I was looking at the annotation crap, all of these were actually grayed out. And the other thing that was go back on there again. And the other thing that had actually happened, go all and go apply. And then what was actually happened was all the dimensions were grayed out. So I was getting none of these at all. So, well, that's interesting. Oh, sorry. And the references as well. There, whatever. And so the references. So when I actually had, the thing, this is all I had, and so I couldn't actually, and when I tried going through and creating reference lines, it just suddenly said, no, we can't make them. Oh, now it's showing them. You can. I'm completely wrong on it. Anyway, I couldn't get this one here to work at all. So I decided to build a tag from scratch. And so I went back and got the room tag template to actually build, and I built myself another one. And what this one does, if you saw on those ones, if we went back to the reference line, the reference was right in the middle. But when you actually do the arrow tag inside the project itself, you see it's pointing to the bottom where the X is. Stop doing that, you. So anyway, I wasn't pleased with that and didn't like the line, so I went back and decided to rebuild it. So what I ended up doing was I made another tag. And so the tag that I made is this one here, and it has all the information that I want on it. And if I want to put it to the front, I can actually put it to the top. If I want to move it down to the side, suddenly it just fades out and says move to room. I'm just going to go OK at that point in time. But what I've actually done is that I can move it to whatever side I want. And if I just move it to the side there, I can move it to the east. So I suppose I could do top, bottom, or there. So I rebuilt the tag with the information that I wanted on there, which was just a whole lot of share parameters that I brought in. Now that completely confused me because I wanted to have some share parameters because I wanted to share them with that project, that particular file, and another couple of files, and then I wanted the family to go through there, but I wanted to be able to build them in the projects first before I did some stuff. And I couldn't figure out how you get share parameters inside of families. The way that you do that is that you link your share parameter file, manage share parameters. You can go and find a share parameter file. So I've made one part of my share parameters because I intend to build a few more things up on here, and then when I came into here, when I was doing the labels, I just needed to come in at the bottom here and select one from the share parameters. That took me a long while to figure out, but I finally got there. So now I've got those parameters. Now the other thing that I did on there was I actually created 4 other parameters, just talking about visibility. So I just created them so they're just family parameters through here, and I've made them I've made them a type parameter, so the visibility is there, and the other ones, so all those. So now I've taken all of the stuff from the north, control and grab them, and then I've actually associated them with the north visibility one. So there's now a switch that I can turn them on and off. Oh, sorry, just one of the other things with those ones there, those parameters there, to make them the vis ones, of course, they need to be of type yes, no. So it's either on or off. So now I've actually got them on the 4 sides. So when I've actually got my particular room, I can look on the sheet. So I'll just load that into the project that I'm actually working on, and we'll go and overwrite that. So here I've got them, and then all of them are turned on. I would just go and, well, actually, now that's a thought. Now what I can actually do is... I'm just going to delete all of those. Delete those. I'm just going to go in now and inside views, I'm going to create a few views from rooms. So I'm going to go 2 through to 7, we'll say. Okay. Oh no, it's creating the views there. Lovely. So there's created the views. And now 2 to 7, I can now go back there into the tools and view tools and add tags to existing room, and the tag that I actually want to supply is that room tag max, and restricting it to those ones there. Oops. Add tags, close. And then all of those other ones actually have those tags in there. Now all I need to do, now at this point in time, actually I'll still keep the tags like that. Now I can actually go Control Shift through to there, and oh no, I've got to come back into here, go View Tools, create sheets from views. I should actually make that shortcut, and we've got that one there. Now I can actually just select all of those. I'm giving the sheet name a prefix of DS for data sheets. I'm actually going to leave this as 0. This just doesn't seem to work. It goes wacky all over the place and just creates sheets. It's offsetting the sheet from where the actual view comes in. So if I create the sheets, we'll actually go down and actually have a look at those, close, and we can see those moving. So if we just go into here, you'll see there's my view and there's my sheet, but I just drag one across to there, zoom extents, and now I can actually just choose straight away where I want that. So I don't want the top or the bottom, so I can actually just go into there, select that and edit, and suddenly saying, well, I'm going to leave it, I want it to the east. So I just turn all the rest off, and there's my room where. So, and again, because it's based on the thing, I can actually sit it up the top there. Because again the centroid is about here, so I can actually go a little bit further out. Oh no, a bit too far. So move to room, and it's just drag me back down again, but I can do some of that. So that's how that's worked there. One of the things that I did do on here that I'm not too sure whether I'd actually do in that family itself is that I ended up doing a whole lot of parameters together. If I go into here and actually just look at the labels, I've got them all, and then I've got a break line in between each one. What I actually found though is if there was nothing in here, if there was no value inside there, not as in sample value, but there was no value in there, it just took the next one up to the next row. So in fact, it could stuff up. It just means I had to populate everything with NAs or something before, and I did that with an Excel transfer sheet to actually do that. Again, not exactly the easiest way to do. And again, I've made my own rather than using possibly the ceiling finish and the floor wall finish and all of those. I've used my own ones here. So it ends up being a little bit messy. And next time I'd actually just do each one as a separate label, I think. You know, it takes a little bit more time, but it ends up being, if there's nothing there, it just shows a blank, which is a lot easier, rather than taking the next string and putting the next string, which would be floor finish, and putting it up to floor substrate, and then all the rest of them would all go up one, which could be quite confusing. So that wasn't too great at all. But at the end of the day, I'm happier with that solution. I still think Whitefeet is a great plugin. And this is a really good way of, and I'm just going to, because I'm working on the A floor, but I want to get those data sheets across, I'm most probably going to have to go to 2 sheets. So that's what I'll be doing. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If that's been of use to you, can you please give a thumbs up? Thank you.